Welcome to the Affiliate Mastery Podcast, a show about making money online and mastering the affiliate game. Your host, Frank Chen. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Affiliate Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Frank Chen, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. If this is your first time, this is a show where we talk about all things specific to affiliate marketing surrounding real estate education, coaching, softwares, live events, pretty much anything and all things surrounding real estate online businesses. And if you're looking to get into the e-commerce side of things, you know, where you start, how to start an education business, how to make it to $1 million, how to make it to grow it to a $5 million, to a $10+ million company. This is the podcast that you want to listen to. Now, you can also download our perfect webinar formula. So this is something brand new that we just recently came out with. It's responsible for over 8 figures in affiliate sales. So over the last decade of promoting thousands of webinars, I put together this blueprint for anybody who can just copy it into their business and starting with a very solid foundation for all of their future sales webinars. It also tells you how to increase your attendance. So if you're just teaching and want to get more people onto a webinar, that's fine too. But it's mainly targeted for those who are trying to sell via a webinar. So just got to go to theaffiliateincubator.com. Again, that's theaffiliateincubator.com, and you can get the free download there. Okay. All right. I'm ready to dive into today's show where we're going to really talk about the differences between a joint venture and a strategic partnership. Some of you are thinking, well, Frank, those are pretty much the same thing. And you are right to a varying degree. And we're going to go really into the kind of the nitty gritty of why these are so different and why that is and how that affects you. Okay. So to quickly simplify the difference between a joint venture and a strategic partnership, I want to first associate these two words to two things, okay? So joint venture, JVs, think short term, and then I want you to start thinking strategic partnerships as long term, okay? Long-term relationships. And to really fully understand the difference between these, let's call it JVs and SPs, we're gonna have to go back 10 years ago, okay? Now, 10 years ago, probably going out on 12 now, I kind of forget how long I've been doing this. We start off with tele-seminars, and this still blows my mind how people would call in, you know, press the PIN number to log in, and you would listen to a person giving a presentation without slides, without any type of visual association, just all audio, and they would sell that way. It's a lot more effective now with webinars because we have a lot more sales tactics, but yeah, so tele-seminars into webinars, and now we're doing automated webinars, Zoom, in person, and things like that as technology has advanced. So from tele-seminars to webinars, as long as you had a product, what you would typically do is that you would get a ton of affiliates together to promote at the same time, and this would become a product launch, right? And then they would do 1 million, 2 million launch, and in the process, you would be able to grow your list very, 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 very fast. Now, the main way to grow your email list is through paid traffic, through your own efforts, social media. But again, it's very unlikely you're going to do it now with the effort of like 50 to 100 affiliates. Okay, so 10 years ago, 50 affiliates promoting one offer, great. So now all these people 10 years later have email lists, right? So over the last 5-10 years, they participated in these launches. Before they've had to put a lot more into paid traffic, they had these lists. So they're able to cross-pollinate and start selling each other's products. So that's when the JV word came, joint ventures. Like, let's work together. I have a product. You have an email list. You have a product. I have an email list. Let's do some business together, okay? So that was going on really rapidly, rampantly for the last 10 years. And as the marketing channel started to shift, cost of leads, cost of advertising, everything has gotten a lot more expensive. So the cost of acquiring a lead now without the help of others, because it's so expensive, it makes a lot more sense for affiliates to monetize that lead using their own products first. And it usually will go on for about 90 to 180 days. Okay, people have offer cyclers where they offer them one thing. If they don't buy this based on what they clicked on and interest, they'll start seeing all these other offers. So they have to go through the ringer, and then you can start working with affiliates. And that's kind of the current climate we're in now. Okay, so we went from having a lot of leads. You can get them from affiliates to organic traffic to where you can monetize like crazy, regardless of how many affiliates you were working with. Now into a model now to where less and less and less people are working with affiliates because it doesn't make sense for them to send their traffic to someone else's offer. Okay, so the way to start having conversations, I talked about this before too, which is kind of like the word JV has an indirect stigma to it now, right? Oh, let's do it. Like if I go to an event and someone's like, hey, we should do a JV together. My first thought process is, okay, what product do you want me to sell of yours? Obviously you're asking, so there may be an understanding that I'm going to have you sell my product too. But in most cases, when someone approaches you with, hey, let's do a JV, it means I have a product. I can't wait to tell you about it and you should promote it, right? That's becoming a lot less and less. And that's really the main reason behind today's episode is because if you're planning on working with affiliates, it's time to evolve our conversation past the word joint venture into strategic partnerships, right? So rather than asking, let's do a JV, you should consider, hey, I have an idea for us to do a strategic partnership, right? Or I have an idea for a strategic partnership between our two businesses. That's going to open up people's minds a lot more to a more creative opportunity. Because in most cases, in our industry specifically, when someone says they want to do a JV, it's more than likely driving traffic to a webinar. When I talk about strategic partnerships, I start referring to other areas of my clients' businesses, okay? And what I mean by that is, outside of, like, everybody came up with a course or a product, it came from their actual business, right? Otherwise, these are people who are selling and they're not doing. I only am in alignment with people who sell what they're doing and have success with it, okay? That's the only type of products I can get behind. I've gotten behind other types of products who didn't do that, and it just rotted me to my core, and not in terms of like being dishonest, but just in terms of the, like, it just feels better when you know you're being able to help people get to where they need to be. Again, I was much younger then. I was more focused on making money. And as you evolve and start to interact with your buyers, end users, working with affiliates, and understanding different, missions for companies, you starting to get in alignment with where you want to be in this industry. And I truly want to be able to help people. Okay, I want to be able to make sure that things I'm selling them is going to get them to that final destination they want to go, because I do understand there are a lot of other bad people in our space that make it harder for us to do business because there's that stigma, right? Online education, sales, gurus, make a lot of money, sell the products, there are some of that's required to attract the audience. But again, I don't want to go too much on a tangent. Just want to say it really does matter how you look front facing to your affiliates as well as to your clientele. So the most important thing here is, when you're looking at JVs or strategic partnerships, to me sounds like equal work, equal effort, equal creativity, and creating a mutual win-win situation. When I hear JV, I think of copy and paste, a lack of effort. It's a way to make quick money. And understand that both of these work, but there are becoming fewer and fewer JVs, okay? And that's the whole purpose. Again, JVs are evolving into strategic partnerships, which in essence will continue to reduce the amount of simple JVs that are out there. By simple, I mean you can just ask someone to promote your product and then they say yes because you can make money from it, right? But again, there are fewer and fewer people that are creating lists just for the sake of selling someone else's product, right? If I'm going to spend the time, money, and energy to aggregate community, there's a really good possibility I'm going to have an ascension model for my own products, right? Why would I spend all this time and energy just to sell someone else's to only make a percentage or a fraction of a whole? So that's kind of the logic behind growing your list these days, okay? Now, of course, there are exceptions to this, right? You have influencers. These are individuals who attract the audiences, but they don't have their own products, which I do believe is the next evolution for affiliates, which are people who are just naturally attracting followers through their own natural, life and what they're doing. but they don't know how to monetize these leads. And I believe there are a lot more opportunity. That's like the new blue ocean that I believe is out there, right? Now, these are the type of strategic partnerships that I'm trying to crack now. So if you are an influencer and you don't feel like you're really maximizing that influence, feel free to reach out to me, especially if you're in the real estate space. You know, you have a YouTube following or a TikTok or Instagram, and you're only selling one simple product, or you're in one niche and you want to be able to expand to 1, 2, 3 other niches, hit me up. I can help y'all out. Now, if you own a software or own a software as a service, your strategic partnership, start thinking along these lines now, which are coaches or real estate investment associations or real estate investment groups becoming the preferred software for this entire organization or this entire company or this coach's entire coaching program. This is a lot more affordable and cost effective than spending traffic, going through cold leads, having high churn rates, versus being able to work with one coach, being endorsed by them, and then having them essentially sell this for you on autopilot, right? That's a really strong strategic partnership versus a JV who invites you on, does a demo, and you sell, 10 demos, but only a few actually stick because these aren't actually investors, right? These aren't people who are actually using the software. They got turned on to how cool it is, but they're not using it. A coach and his students, they're actually going to use it. And for a lot of softwares, that's where the money is. It's the ongoing usage of these tools, right? They have margins that are built into marketing campaigns and all these other things. It's a really super smart model. But again, they're so focused on paid ads that they're completely overlooking the right types of partnerships. I've talked to 5 different softwares in our space, 3 of them which are the leading softwares in real estate in terms of data, CRMs, and again, their core focus is paid traffic, which is super, super, super important, but this is a functioning vehicle all on its own, right? These ads don't ever cross in front of these. These are attract your end user, not the influencer. So you can't really overlook this huge honey hole of opportunity, okay? Now, if you do, another opportunity is, if you don't own a SaaS, and many of the people I talk to only have courses, right? They have modules, whether it's digital or physical, but you don't have a software or some type of application component, then a strategic partnership for you should be a software or an application that complements your course. So if I was a wholesaler and I've been using Excel spreadsheets and just 5, 6 different softwares, then maybe it makes sense for you to pair up with a CRM that can bring all of these potential tools in-house, right? Under a white label or under another named software product. So white labeling is basically taking a software, getting your brand under it. They service, it's their system, but it looks like your product, okay? That's an opportunity for most course owners that I suggest is finding a software or an application that can make your product better. It can, help your students reach success. You don't have to spend any additional money to create a software. I see so many investors trying to reinvent the wheel. Oh, this software doesn't do these things. I'm going to go spend this money to develop this. Softwares at a minimum cost anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 if you're looking to grow this into a multi-million-dollar software company, right? Like it's going to cost you at a minimum $50,000 to $100,000. Why not just pair with someone and just add it to your program and then work out a win-win agreement with the software owner, okay? So it's really time to, what I challenge you guys to do while you're listening to this is to really think beyond the quick money, right? Getting a yes, I just promote my webinar, make some money is great, but you're probably leaving more than half the money that you could be making with this affiliate on the table, okay? Now, let me give you guys another example. We have some funders in here in this space, which are hard money, private money. If you're to pair up with, say, a wholesaling/transaction-based company, you can actually be their preferred private money lender, their hard money lender, and you're able to deploy your money directly through a company that's constantly buying and investing real estate and teaching students how to do the same. So it's a constant lead flow into your funding business. So again, if you just try to look for the one-off investor through advertising efforts, hey, if you're looking for funding, come check us out, watch a webinar, versus pairing up with a company that already endorses your service and says, hey, this is the company that we use, that we trust to do all of our lending needs. So the moment they buy property from this transaction website, they don't need to watch a webinar or do all these things. They're just immediately going to tap into this funding source. Okay. So again, it's almost taking the idea of referral business to another level. I don't know about you, but for me, that's all the type of business that I do is I ask for referrals, whether that's my eye appointments, that's my vet, whether that's travel, whether that's anything. If someone's had a good experience going through this, I'm going to take their word over my research, just at an initial glance, okay? So figure out ways to create more value without having to spend money to create something new, okay? That's probably the best advice that I can give you on today's episode is if you're just challenged with creating something and because it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, think about someone in the space already that can fulfill that need and understand then understanding your specialty. What's that one component that you're going to be able to add to this strategic partnership? And what I tell people is if you don't have an email list, you can leverage theirs. If they don't have an email list and you do, figure out how they can add value to your list. That's the biggest difference between a joint venture and a strategic partnership. Joint ventures stop when I ask you, hey, do you want to promote my webinar? No. Cool. Thank you. That's when a joint venture ends. A strategic partnership is great. No problem on the webinar. How else can our two companies work together? Here's what we do well, and here's where we need help. Does your company fulfill any of the things that we need help with? Yes. Let's go deeper. Okay. This is why we're starting to see more workshops where you'll see two gurus coming together. One's in lease options, one's in wholesaling, and they'll come together because there's overlap in their business in which this guy needs this person's help and vice versa. Now they're able to charge more now they're getting two experts, two different types of training, two resources, and all the added bonuses, right? So instead of a $1,000 or a $1,500 course, now they can charge $3,000, $4,000 for the exact same thing and fulfill a much higher quality buyer. So I want you guys to start understanding, really start thinking beyond joint venture. What's an affiliate? Someone who's going to promote my offer. An affiliate should be someone that you can work with now, in 6 months from now, 5 years from now. Again, I've been doing this for 12 years, and some of my best affiliates I've been working with for over 8 years now. And a lot of them, I should probably say for close to 10 years now. And a lot of them were predominantly webinars. And thankfully, due to this shift in our market over the last 2 years, it has forced me in my business to really start thinking beyond the simple promotions. It needs to start being more creative. Start thinking about all the angles that you can come at an opportunity that best serves your community. I know a lot of the times when we try to get into this business, we're trying to model it out of others who are just making money hand over fist. But what they're not telling you is the amount of effort they've put behind that just to get to where they are. And that's why they're so protective of their email lists now and their reputation and who they say yes to in JVs, in strategic partnerships. So take the time. Take the time to understand what people are looking for. I've had a previous episode where it was all about asking the right questions. If you're going to any event, you're attending a mastermind, you're trying meetups and trying to really expand your brand, the last thing I encourage you to do, or the last thing I expect you to do is let's say that again. The last thing that I want you to do is approach every conversation as, hey, this is who I am. Here's what my product is. Let's do a JV. You're going to get so many no's to that approach versus, hey, what is it that here's what we do. Is there any way that we could do a strategic partnership? And they say, what does that look like? What does that need to look like for you, right? So that's all I got for you guys today. I wanted to really take this time to distinguish the difference between joint venture and strategic partnerships, because a lot of times when I talk to new affiliates coming into the space, they're like, yeah, I'm looking to do more joint ventures. I'm looking for affiliates. And all that really means is I'm looking for someone to promote my offer, and I'm looking for affiliates to promote my offer. It's always a one-way conversation. And that's why out of 100 people I talk to, maybe 10 of those people will turn into a actual real conversation. And then of those 10, maybe half of those will actually turn into actual JVs. And that's because a lot of people are misinterpreting what an affiliate and a JV actually do. So if you're taking the time to grow your list, grow the influence, look for the right partnerships, not just JVs. If you already have a list, you already have the products, start focusing on strategic partnerships, because I'm sure your JVs are going to take care of themselves. The webinars that you're doing already, continue to do those, but start looking at new opportunities. Things are changing, period. You're hearing from me first. And I promise you, in about 2, 3, 5 years from now, it's going to be very influencer heavy. People who attract the audiences are going to get the business, okay? They're going to have the power. So spend that time to grow that power or that area of your business so you have some leverage when it starts to, later down the road, when that becomes even more and more important, okay? So hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. On joint ventures versus strategic partnerships. If you have any questions regarding what we talked about today, leave me a comment, subscribe to our channel. I would love to get your feedback. If there's any kind of topic that we haven't covered yet that you want to learn more about, or you just simply want to ask me a series of questions, kind of learn more about my industry, feel free to do that. I love the questions. I love spending time with you guys. I appreciate you being here. I do apologize for not having an episode last week. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, and due to some bad weather, I just wasn't able to get an episode out. So we're trying to get caught up now, so we can continue on this once a week pace. Thank you guys so much for your time again. I look forward to talking to you on our next episode. Take care, good investing, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye, everybody.